You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Nutrients for Black and White Sports 2. Well, if you're a Ravens fan today, you've got to be wondering what's going on with your quarterback and what's going on with your offensive coordinator position. I know some of you were on board with Greg Roman getting walked, even though the guy literally created an offense that was perfect for Lamar Jackson. But he's gone, and now the Ravens are interviewing another former fired offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich. That's right. A guy that, to be honest with you, this time last year was nearly the Jaguars' head coach. Somewhere Jacksonville knows they dodged a bullet. Also, some of these other names on this docket of potential offensive coordinator hires do not strike fear in the hearts of any opponent that I can think of. The Georgia offensive coordinator is rather interesting, I seem to think. Now, there's also one piece of troubling news involving Jackson and his contract. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN wrote a story on his insider page today, and some of that has come out in the stratosphere. And let's just say that when it comes to guaranteed money, the Ravens and Jackson may be a very long way away, to the tune of nearly $100 million in guaranteed money. That may be how far apart they are right now. So let's look at this first, and then we'll go to the contract. I think we know where this is headed, probably an exclusive franchise tag. But just far as the actual contract itself, yeah, they're a long way apart. Ravens have spoken to Byron Leftwich about the offensive coordinator job. You know what? Before I get to that, I just wonder how many Ravens fans, because I'm a Niners fan, so I sat back and I watched a quarterback with a UCL injury come back into an NFC championship game this past weekend. Now, he couldn't throw the ball, but the kid still got in there and handed the ball off and still played. How many Raven fans are okay with the way Lamar Jackson actually handled the end of the year where he decided not to play in the playoff game? Just wondering, because the Brock Purdy thing made Lamar Jackson look even worse. I can tell you right now. A lot worse. Man, I was a big Lamar guy till about a month ago. Ravens have spoken to Byron Leftwich. This is PFT. Add another name to the list of coaches who have spoken to the Ravens about their offensive coordinator job. Jeff Zerbeck of theathletic.com, I don't know if that's right, so sorry if I screwed it up, reports that their head coach, John Harbaugh, has spoken with former Buccaneers offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich about the position. Leftwich was fired by Tampa after their playoff loss to the Cowboys. Let's keep in mind that Tampa team could not run the ball. Period. They could not run the ball. I mean, Leftwich had a 45-year-old Tom Brady throw 66 times, I think, against the Cowboys. Whew, okay. Leftwich was a head coaching candidate after the last couple of seasons, but the Buccaneers struggled through the 2022 season, pushed him out the door after 4 seasons with the team. I got to be real. When it comes to offense, anything offensive to do with the Buccaneers of the last few years outside of this past season, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give credit to Bruce Arians, not Byron Leftwich. I mean, I just think we saw what that looked like without Arians. The Ravens have started lining up second interviews for the job, and it's not clear if Leftwich remains in the running with the likes of tight ends coach, passing game coordinator Brian Angelichico. Broncos offensive coordinator Justin Alton, Seahawks quarterbacks coach Dan Canellis, and University of Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken. I think that's a very, very interesting potential right there. I do. Of the names on there, that's kind of the one that gets my dander possibly worked up. I mean, look, that Georgia offense was really damn good. Okay, and we know in the SEC it's about as close as you can come to the NFL. And they won another national title. And hell, who knows? Maybe you can draft Stetson Bennett late and let him sit, be your backup. Never know what that turns into for the Ravens. Maybe into a quarterback that's willing to play in a playoff game. Despite being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for the past 5 seasons, Lamar Jackson's trade market isn't as robust as you would think right now. That's mainly due to this contract situation, by the way. Per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, most teams are expecting the Baltimore Ravens will use the exclusive franchise tag on Jackson and will wait to see how long-term contract talks play out before attempting to make a trade offer for the 2019 NFL MVP. And it could become a standoff because I wouldn't expect him to sign a tag for a while, one AFC executive said. And they will be so far apart in guaranteed money. There has been a discussion about which version of the franchise tag the Ravens will use to prevent Jackson from becoming an unrestricted free agent. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week, there was a sense Jackson will receive the exclusive franchise tag. I would guess that's probably it. The exclusive tag guarantees a player the higher total between the average of 5 highest paid players at the position or 120% of your previous year's salary. The non-exclusive tag includes the same guaranteed money, but the non-exclusive tag allows the player to negotiate with other teams. If the Ravens were to use the non-exclusive tag, Jackson receives an offer they don't want to match, they would receive 2 first-round picks as compensation. If you can get 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson, your asses better take it. And I know what people are thinking, my God, but look at Watson. Yeah, but he wants Watson's contract too. I mean, that's the thing, okay? And look, there's still a large number of fans out there that believe Lamar Jackson still can't throw a football. Okay? I happen to think he's a better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit for, but he's not Patrick Mahomes either. Okay? The non-exclusive tag would be redundant because a quarterback of Jackson's caliber at the age of 26 would almost certainly be traded for more than 2 first-round picks. Likely, you might throw in a third. The exclusive tag gives the Ravens more time to figure it out if they can close the gap between the 2-time Pro Bowler on guaranteed money. Fowler noted, and this is where things just become nuts. Fowler noted the Ravens and Jackson, quote, could possibly be as much as $100 million in guaranteed money apart. And the trade talks would be more likely to pick up closer to the draft if it becomes clear no long-term agreement will be reached. That's crazy. It will be interesting to see if Jackson might have lost some of his negotiating leverage. He missed the final 5 games of the regular season in each of the past 2 seasons due to injury. Look, I think the Ravens, and everybody goes back to this, and they even bring it up here in the article about Harbaugh using the 200% chance Jackson's back. But I got to be real. There's got to be some true thoughts of maybe this guy ain't the guy. All right. I mean, look, Harbaugh made it abundantly clear he thought Jackson could play before that playoff game. And, well, he didn't do it. Jackson remains one of the most dynamic offensive players in the NFL. He threw for 2,242 yards, ran for 764, and accounted for 20 touchdowns in 12 starts. So, yeah, and I'm not saying there wouldn't be some teams in on Lamar. There would be. Right offhand, I don't know which ones they would be, to be honest with you. There were some thoughts that it would be the Jets, but I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. And look, if the door closes on the Jets and Lamar, I think that's a big door that shuts, okay? Obviously, he's not going to the Browns. He's not going to the Cardinals because they just re-sign these quarterbacks and on to big deals. Also, keep in mind, we always talk about this, Lamar has no agent. He desperately needs one because he wants the Deshaun Watson contract. He's not getting it. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be a quarterback that ever gets a guaranteed deal like that again. And he desperately needs an agent, somebody in the business to set him down, go, look, Lamar, this is not happening. The Watson contract is viewed by owners, general managers, and head coaches around the league as a mistake. A mistake they have all come together. And look, I know they will say, well, there's not supposed to be collusion. I know there's not supposed to be. But if you think Jerry and Stan Kroenke and Steve Bisciotti and Arthur Blank and all these guys behind the scenes don't have phone calls together and talks, I mean, most of these guys are all friends, right? I mean, Steve Bisciotti made it very vocally clear he was not a big fan of the Browns having done what they did. And because he said, I've got a quarterback I got to sign. What does that tell you? You know? So I find that interesting. That is a long way apart on a guaranteed money. If they could be as much as $100 million apart. Yikes. That is a long way apart. And I mean, you could give Jackson some credit, I guess, for sticking to his guns, because if you're willing to miss the last 5 games, and I understand he was supposed to have a PCL and all that, and I'm sure he did, but, you know, you got a teammate calling you out, you got a coach that insinuated you should be playing. Some people said a severe version of that injury is about a 3-week injury. Yikes, you know? You've got a lot of people that are going to question how badly do you want it, you know. Again, Brock Purdy playing, you know, that sort of thing happening. Patrick Mahomes coming back in that game, hobbling. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson, when that happened, Lamar Jackson trended online. You know, where was your commitment level left when Patrick Mahomes is hobbling back in the game hurt? And now he's in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 fans. Lamar Jackson, that entire situation, the Ravens OC situation, is a mess. And there's been some word that maybe Lamar didn't like Greg Roman. Good luck. Good luck with whatever you end up with. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.